Claude Opus 4.8 just dropped, and I think a lot of people are going to read this release backwards. They are going to look at the benchmark table, circle the biggest numbers, and say, okay, Claude got smarter. That is true. But it is not the real story. The real story is that Anthropic is moving Claude away from being only a chatbot and toward being an operator. Not a model that answers one prompt, but a model that can stay inside a job, use tools, check its own work, recover when the context gets messy, and keep moving through a larger project. Here is the official Anthropic announcement. Opus 4.8 is live today, May 28, 2026. Anthropic says it builds on Opus 4.7, and the release is clearly centered on agent work. Now look at the chart. Yes, the numbers are good. Opus 4.8 is up on agentic coding, computer use, multidisciplinary reasoning, knowledge work and finance agent tasks. It is compared against Opus 4.7, GPT 5.5, and Gemini 3.1 Pro. That chart is going to be the screenshot everyone posts, but I do not think the chart is the headline. I think the chart is evidence that Anthropic is optimizing for a very specific kind of work. Long, messy, multi-step work where the model has to make judgment calls. That is different from asking a chatbot to answer a question. This is, go into my repo, understand what is broken, split up the work, make changes, verify those changes, and tell me what still needs a human. That is why the Claude Code demo matters. The demo is not flashy. It is Claude sitting inside a real workflow, tracking what is waiting, what is working, and what is finished. But that is exactly the point. If agents are going to be useful, they need to manage the work when nobody is babysitting them every 30 seconds. This is where dynamic workflows come in. On the Claude blog, Anthropic says Claude Code can now create workflows for larger tasks. In plain English, Claude can take one big job and turn it into a coordinated process. It can send different parts of the work to different subagents. One can inspect, one can edit, one can verify, one can try to break the result before it gets handed back. That is not just a faster chatbot. That is a different shape of software. And this is also where creators and builders need to be careful. This is powerful, but it is not magic, and it is not free. Anthropic says dynamic workflows can use substantially more tokens than a normal Claude Code session, so you do not want to throw this at every tiny task. If you need a headline, use a cheaper model. If you are fixing a one-line bug, you probably do not need a fleet of subagents. But if you are doing a migration, a security review, a complex research task, a big refactor, or a codebase-wide bug hunt, this is where Opus 4.8 starts to make sense. The API docs tell the same story from the technical side. The model ID is Claude-Opus 4.8. The docs call out a 1 million token context window on the Claude API, Amazon Bedrock, and Vertex AI, with 128,000 max output tokens. They also mention high effort by default, fast mode, better tool triggering, lower prompt cache minimums, and better compaction handling. That last part is not sexy, but it is huge. Long agent sessions often fail because the model loses the thread. The conversation gets compressed, the model forgets why it made a decision, and the whole run starts drifting. Better compaction recovery means Claude is supposed to keep the shape of the task in its head for longer. That is what I care about, not just can it write a prettier function, can it keep working after 20 minutes without quietly breaking the plan? And Anthropic is also emphasizing honesty. They say Opus 4.8 is more likely to flag uncertainty, catch issues in its own work, and avoid letting flawed code pass without comment. That is what makes an agent useful. Not confidence, judgment. The worst AI coding experience is not when the model says, "I do not know." The worst experience is when it confidently hands you something broken and acts like the job is finished. So here's my take. Opus 4.8 is not the Mythos moment. Do not confuse those two things. Anthropic is still describing Mythos class access as something coming later. Opus 4.8 is the agent workflow moment. It is the release that says Claude is being built for longer runs, bigger context, more tool use, more verification, and more autonomy. That is why I would not use Opus 4.8 for everything. I would save it for the work where the model needs to behave less like autocomplete and more like a project teammate. If I need a quick summary, I do not need Opus. If I need a system inspected, a repo migrated, a messy topic researched, or a plan stress tested, that is where I want to try it. The benchmark chart says Claude got better. The Dynamic Workflows launch says what Anthropic wants Claude to become. And that is the real story.